Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more RISS. Right now, we are in game number 3 of Fengzi against Mihu. And right now, Mihu does lead 2-0. We are on Destination, which is a very old map with a very long history that I'll talk about in a moment here. But first, I do want to thank Remaster TV for giving me all these great games to cast. This invitational series has the very best of the best, for the most part, as far as non-Korean players go. These guys are all really greatly skilled, so it is a pleasure. Some really great games in here. Hope that you guys are enjoying as I mix up the content a little bit, jump around a little bit to give some variety to what we have here on ArtosisCasts every day. And, of course, thank you for subscribing and hitting that notification button, because I know all of you did that, right? Yeah, well, actually, it's more closer to 50%. Please do that if you're enjoying the cast over here. Yeah, everything is appreciated, guys. Cheers. Now, Destination. This map was considered, like, the best map for a fair amount of time. It was just very interesting, gave us great games. And then it kind of went away and came back a little bit in more modern times, like earlier in Remastered. You know, Remastered's been out for 6 years now. But it actually isn't balanced anymore. It became pretty grossly imbalanced, in fact. Let me show you some of the things. So, first off, nowadays, for like what is considered like peak balance, you kind of need the bases in the corners, because you have all this wide open area. So, for instance, with Terran here, the Mutalisks can come in behind this area, and this is a lot of terrain, right? Like, look on both sides. This is a lot of your main bases over here. So, like, is this just dead area? Is this an area you just have to fill up with missile turrets, right? Like, drops can come in here. It's very annoying. And, like, if you're building things over here, they can just be killed off very easily, right? It's behind your mineral patches. It's hard to defend. So, that aspect is pretty tough. The next thing is the bridges. Any sort of containment on the other side of long, thin bridges like this, you can't really get through, right? So, and then you have the bridges in the center. These are slightly bigger bridges. But yeah, there's some real issues, right? Like, for instance, okay, let's say that you're playing lurkers and lings here, trying to get out of your natural, and Mihu's standing here with his army. You literally will never make it. Same vice versa. And, you know, in some matchups, that's bigger than others. Also, all the expansions on the map outside of the natural are on cliffs, so I can't even begin to describe to you what that does to it. But anyways, we have an 8-Rax. This is actually not like a dedicated all-in or something. He's not actually dealing that much damage. This is a good block from Fengzi. Sorry, I got excited talking about, like, the craziness that is Destination. And we have this 8-Rax that's occurring. But this isn't like a BBS, right? The 8-Rax isn't meant to kill. I mean, occasionally it will, just like occasionally a 9-pool will kill a Terran, but generally not going to be the case. Fengzi's block of it was very, very good there. He lost like 1 drone, which means that basically 2 drones is this is a tie thing for the 8-Rax, and if it's lower than that, you can look at it and say that Zerg's advantage. If it's higher than that, you can say the Terran's advantage. So, you would say that Fengzi has like a slight edge after that. That was good micro, just kind of holds it off, not a big problem. So back at home, Mihu expanding, getting a second barracks for that production. Up comes his refinery. Of course, checking into this main base. That is one neat thing about things like 8-Rax, these pressure builds. You can like slow down builds quite a bit, right? Like, we don't have a layer on the way. Of course, Mihu's build is slowed down as well, but you're kind of pushing everything back in the game a little bit. So third hatch coming down here for Fengzi. He actually gets Zergling speed first. Now, with Zergling speed first, the difficulty of dealing with Zergling speed here, the natural is actually very wide open, and the ramps are kind of far apart, right? Ooh, he actually has a few lings in that main base. Ooh, gets an SCV. Gets another. You kidding me? Little bit of miss micro there on the lings. He definitely could have gotten another one. But actually, I mean, that was very good. Now, speedlings are going to be very strong here. If you look at this, it's not like you can put a bunker here and it's going to block the ramps. Like, they'll just run in and run past. So where do you put your bunker? Do you put it like here? Well, they can actually run around the minerals. Do you put it here? Well, that screws up your mining and they can run up the ramp. There's not a good place for a bunker here. So speedlings are a very strong opener. Another thing that's funky about playing this map, right? Like even blocking Dragoons, right? Like think about TVP, modern TVP. You have a bunker, like the Dragoons just walk in and like are on the side and hitting your command center. So yeah, this map is not used all that much. But anyways, a fun old map. And here we go. The speedlings coming in. Mihu does have the double medics out, so it feels like this might be just slightly late from Fengzi, this attack. Some targeting onto the SCVs, which could be good. Like the SCV count is kind of low, so I don't mind him picking a few off, but the speedlings didn't do quite as well as I think he wanted, and that's because those medics are out. If the medics weren't, he might have been able to actually reduce the Marine count pretty significantly. Either way, we have the Spire coming up, and Mihu slips an SCV in to see that exactly. Very, very nice. The drone count's starting to rise a little bit. The Ling's still trying to harass here, but as the Marine count grows, there's not like a lot that they can do, right? Especially as Stim comes up and you have those medics once again for the sustainability. A lot of action in this early game, and without a doubt, Fengzi is coming out on top. Like I can't blame Mihu for what he did. Like the 8 racks is not a bad idea on a tough map like this. But he got a little bit behind, and the Lings got in, killed some SCVs a little bit behind. Like the worker count isn't really supposed to be this close right now. Like if you're playing against 2 hatchery mutalisks, let's say, and you can hit 33 SCVs before you build your turrets, you're happy. This is going to be a 3 hatch, and everything's slowed down, but he's taking that damage, and he's on only 30 right now, and he's playing against 29 drones. That's a high-end economy from Fengzi, considering what this game has looked like so far. So doing a great job droning up. Down here, we see the +1 as well as range. The Spire is about to finish here for Fengzi. And as that finishes up, of course, he has 3 hatches of larva ready. Does he have the gas, though? 6 mutas get started immediately, and he'll start pumping out a few more. We'll see if he gets an attack upgrade. I think he will here. Attack upgrade looks about right because the counterattacks are so strong on this map. One thing to mention, right? This third base that's been taken, this is the standard third base for Zerg. And you can see it's not up a ramp. Instead, it's over a bridge. So that does make the defense a little bit different. Lurkers are still going to be very, very strong here. But this is legitimately the only map I've ever seen this thing I'm about to describe to you on. We're not going to see it here, but I just want to tell you about it. I have seen optical flare bust at this third base. If it's just like lurkers and you flare them, they can't see anything coming down coming up the bridge here, right? And you're not missing any shots as Terran because you're not going up a ramp. Instead, you're going across a bridge. So it's kind of like a cute thing I've seen. Again, I don't think that's something that we'll ever see again, but either way, I just wanted to say that. We have the mutas diving in on top of these barracks. And, okay, they're going to slow down the factory. In fact, cancel it off. Really, really nice. That's a lot of missile turrets. You can see how seriously he's taking it. Normally, well, hold on. We actually have Fengzi catching a lot of these Marines as Mihu moves across the map. Trying to catch an Overlord here. Looks like he should be able to get it. Yeah, pops that Overlord. Very, very nice. But should he stay out on the map? Should he try to reinforce? Or are we going to see an attack? You can't really go over the bridge. The Sunkens are pretty good at blocking Marines there. He could try to dive for this base, but I don't think he has enough. Like, I think just the amount of units that Fengzi is making, he should be able to just eliminate this if Mihu doesn't get it home pretty quickly. Now, Fengzi actually... Oh, he was looking towards a counterattack. See a lot of missile turrets here as well. Like, way more turrets on this map than any standard map that you would see nowadays. Right? That's like a lot of money you're spending on that anti-mutalisk defense. But you got to do it. You got to do it. You know, different maps give you different problems that you have to try to solve. Now, either way, this Bioforce is pretty far out there. I think Mihu's made a mistake here. I mean, you can walk out when you get a force that size, right? This is bad, though. You don't want to lose that first big group of Marine medic, especially the medics. You can walk out with something like that, but he should have walked all the way back and reinforced. If you just leave anything out there, like any force that's left on the map will eventually be killed off. Like, it's very strong when it gets there. And this is every matchup, guys. Every single matchup. Like, if you push out with your first 3 Dragoons, it's really strong right there. But if they sit there, they're going to get wrecked. Same with, you know, you're containing with their first 2 Lurkers. You know, you're out with a group of Marines, anything like that. So I think Mihu making a bit of a mistake there for sure. Fengzi right now just going back with some heavy Mutalisk harassment, killing off several SCVs. He's actually up 11 workers right now, which is super significant. Another group of bio coming out onto the map, but Fengzi flies out to meet it. A single sunken on the way. Okay, there we go. He is going to send up some Hydras to go ahead and make lurkers. You know, I got to tell you guys, watching this game on Destination is making me really nostalgic. By the way, this turret needs to be killed. That is the worst mining ever. The mutas continue to harass Mihu's forces. But yeah, I honestly, I feel like a lot of nostalgia right now watching this. Like, I remember so many good times on this map. But you can see that Fengzi is like, it really feels like he's destroying Mihu right now. Mihu is not able to get out of his base and keep any pressure on. He's losing tons of SCVs. He's built more missile turrets than I've ever personally seen Mihu build. Like, he's normally pretty light on turrets compared to a lot of Terrans. Like, if you look at him or Scan in a situation like this, Scan's going to have way more turrets. But he's made a ton here to try to deal with the map. Still, the mutas are kind of devouring him. His worker count being this much lower is really, really scary. 9 workers down. He's getting into Valkyries right now, but he's literally starting his first Valkyrie when lurkers are already out, and we have Consume on the way for Defilers. So, like, that's, you know, you're looking more for Irradiate at that point. Now, the mutas fly back in. I understand that he wants the Valkyries because you see what these mutas are doing to him right now. It's just so much damage coming out. Brings out that Valkyrie, will push back these mutas. And look, already a lead in supply here for Fengzi. Like, that's something you never want to see. That generally means you're about to lose the game against Zerg. Zerg just has way more supply efficiency and can operate at much lower supplies than the other two races. So anytime you see them catch up or, you know, God forbid, max out, generally that means the Zerg is in a really good spot. Now, Mihu is a fantastic player, so I'm actually kind of excited about this. Like, is he going to show us how to come back from a difficult situation? This is a situation every Terran will be in sometimes, where everything's kind of gone wrong. You've lost more SCVs than you wanted. Your third base is slow, right? Like, you want your third base started by now, for sure. Like, 12 minutes is about as late as you ever want to take it. But if you're taking a bunch of damage, you just can't do that. You have to push everything back. Now, you know, he's added quite a few Valkyries. Look at that production tab. Plague, Hydra speed, missile attacks, melee attacks, adrenal glands, carapace. Dude, he's got triple evolution chamber, getting everything for the Defiler, getting the adrenalines. Like, I mean, the economy of Fengzi is amazing, and he is going to have really great upgraded units. Now, Mihu is going for 2-1 right now, so that's good. He's adding a couple dropships, and dropships can be good, but you see what Fengzi has done here. He's used his leftover Mutalisks. He knows the Valkyries are out. These aren't going to be useful anymore. They're going to be on anti-drop duty. A few Scourge, a group of Lings. And, you know, he can pull these into battle when he wants. Like, it looks like he was thinking of maybe trying to pick off a Valkyrie. That's not going to work out here, I think. But it's going to be hard for Mihu to get a good drop-off against this very turtly 3-base layout. We'll see what he ends up doing with it. The 2 dropships are out. And, in fact, he got 2 more. So we went 4 dropship. And this is actually a very smart play. Skipping the vessels, you go for Valkyries to try to clear this air support, and then you go for dropship. The 4 dropship is kind of an all-in from Terran. Everyone kind of knows about this. It's not used super often, but it has to do something because you have no irradiate. So, like, if, let's say that he just shuts... Oh, my God. That plague. Just disgusting. Let's say that he shuts down this drop. First off, this is 40 supply, okay? So Mihu will drop to 80 if he loses this. And then also, you don't have any way to slow down what's coming. Like right now, you could have 6 vessels, right? You could have 6 vessels. Instead, you have 4 dropships and some Valkyries. So let's see what Mihu can get done. He's cleared the middle of the map, so you actually don't know the dropships are here as Zerg. Looks like the Hydra Lurker Defiler is going to be the comp that we're going to see out of Fengzi, by the way, which is super strong right now. Now, the dropships are flying way around. He doesn't know that there's nothing here. Like, if there was an Overlord here, he would just be shaking his head. But looks like he's going to go for it. Oh, man, look at this. Fengzi's so on top of everything. He's ready for a possible drop to come in here. He's ready over here. Even a Lurker... 1 Ling behind there. You could unload there. That could be all right. But obviously, you're going to get there pretty quickly with Dark Swarm and Plague. So it looks like he's going to sit these dropships. This is a gamble because if they get found, you're really, really screwed. But you know what? If you're waiting for Fengzi's attention to be elsewhere, for him to be attacking somewhere with his units and then dropping in, honestly, I feel like Mihu is so good. He really does know how to play this game. Sounds like a weird thing to say, but lots of people play in a kind of a clueless manner because it's so hard. But like, this makes a lot of sense. When you're this far behind, take these massive risks and see if one of them can pay off. So I think the dropships will probably move now. He's lost his third base, a big chunk of the army here. Fengzi is concentrating on an attack, and there it goes. Mihu going to go with this massive drop. And you know what? There's not a lot here. The Hydras try to get into position. They're not going to get there in time. There's no Lurker. There's no Defiler. So real potential here. Here comes that first Lurker. You have to target that down. That's the most important thing. Every Lurker spine is dealing more damage than everything else. Oh my god, Mihu. Are you actually kidding me? Insane drop going off. Going after that Defiler Mound, knowing that's the hardest thing to deal with right now for him. Another group of units coming up. The rally point out here for Fengzi is going to lose some units there as well. Looks like Fengzi has enough to actually kill this off, this drop. But 3 remaining dropships get reloaded, and he can just go up and drop once again. What a brilliant tactic here from Mihu. I don't know if it'll be enough. His supply is very low. He doesn't have a third base, but he's dealing some serious damage. Now, that evolution chamber in particular is not upgrading, so picking that off doesn't help. Of course, you can't tell as Terran. The Lurker's coming up with the Darkstorm. It looks like he should get the Spire. So, I mean, it's not that useful to get the Spire against Hydra, Lurker, Defiler, because it's not like you can just go BCs now. If you get the Spire in other situations, that can be huge to switch into BC. But yeah, not in this case. And in fact, that it helps with dropships too. But right, he has that additional form of anti-air. So you can't fly around with impunity like you could in other situations where you kill the Spire against more regular builds. So Mihu continues to macro. His mineral patches are running out. He's basically done in the main. The natural, it's okay. It's got like a third of its original, or a little bit less than a third of its original saturation. So he really needs those additional bases. You can see Fengzi actually has a lot of resources. Taking a 4th base here. It really still does feel good for Fengzi. Certainly Mihu has given himself more of a chance than what we saw before. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like, oh, look at this. Double factory siege tank out in the open. Now, this is a kind of a neat thing about Destination. It has more buildable terrain out here, so you can do a move like this. And some people ask, like, why would you build factories out in an area like this? They're more likely to get killed. If he loses control of this area, that means his third base will be split from his natural. He loses the game. So you may as well put him there. There's no reason not to. Okay, so Fengzi comes in. Mihu super commits to this, but the Lurker Spines are amazing. The Siege Tanks are doing a lot of work. And yeah, Mihu holds on. He holds on. He's getting that third base going. Almost nothing left up there. The drop ships, 3 of them still alive, adding in some fire bats. Those fire bats don't actually do well against Hydras or against Lurkers. But if a Dark Storm comes up, they're going to be your only chance to actually break through it. So they actually are useful still against this type of composition. We're going to clear another Lurker there. You know, Mihu definitely wants to think about another base as well. Obviously, he lost this one earlier. It wasn't mining for very long. You can see, right? You got like 150 minerals from it only before losing the command center and all the SCVs in the bunker. So a little bit painful. This one a little bit easier to defend in some ways. But this one actually covers an expansion here. You can barely see it, right? You can see it better there, a mineral-only base. Now, here comes another big attack here from Fengzi. The siege tanks, I mean, obviously they're helping a lot. Plague goes down heavily on those medics. More Marines rallying out, more siege tanks as well. He does have that +1 attack on siege tanks, which really helps out. Very efficient defense, but we don't see Mihu like gaining. Like he's not, like he's holding on. He's holding on. That's what we should say, right? He's not like building his supply too well because he's having to lose so many units every time he's attacked in. He's building his siege tank count, which can be nice, but for a long-term victory, you're going to need to do more than that, like getting more bases, maybe dealing some counter damage to Zerg. Maybe you're building up your science vessel count, right? Things like that. Getting 3-2 upgrades would be one way of, like, building onto your position. We're not getting those. He's so broke right now, right? Like, it's everything he can do to stay alive. He's kind of hoping, I think, for Fengzi to do some wasteful attacks, because that can open up more opportunities for you. Still producing heavily out of his barracks, but again, without those additional upgrades, that's going to be rough, because Fengzi's going to get ahead. Look, 2-2. So already ahead on those Zerglings. 2-2 on the Hydras and Lurkers as well. And, I mean, we got plus 2 melee attack and plus 3 carapace coming up. So it's going to get worse and worse here for Mihu. But he's already shown us that he really knows how to come back. And look at this. I mean, he's going to break this Lurker. Ooh, good spines. And try to get this base, but it looks like a lot of Hydra Lurker coming over. Mihu has a pretty sizable army. His medic's actually getting way out of position here. But as the Defiler comes in, as 5 Lurkers burrow up in the front, he has to back up. Darkstorm goes down, but the 2 Firebats could do some work. No, they just decide to run as the Lurkers moving themselves forward. So unable to bust this base, unfortunately. Still remaining at the same supplies for both sides. Mihu, he's kind of got control of his side of the map. Looks like he's thinking about taking this as a 4th base location, but a couple Lurkers come up to give it a little scoutsy. We have a lot of Defilers on the way. You see 5 more being made. He's already got quite a few out on the map. Like, so we're going to have like 9 Defilers. That's a lot of Defilers. Honestly, I don't even know what the optimal amount of Defilers is, but they are such a ridiculous unit. I guess you probably can't have too many. Just having them spread about, very, very important. Now, here we go. Coming in with double Defilers towards these Siege Tanks. Going to get the burrow. When you burrow the Lurkers, they are not able to be hit by the Siege Tanks anymore. So Mihu has to instantly unsiege. He's losing his factory position, which is very painful. He's lost some of his Siege Tank count. You know, obviously that was a big part of what was keeping him alive thus far. Now, 3 dropships are loaded up. Not a bad idea, but there's a lot of places on the map where they could be picked off. Oh, no. Very, very painful. Loses one of these factories. You can see he can't give up the position. Like, he needs to hold on here to keep this 3rd alive. He has no minerals left in his natural, no minerals left in his main. He does have another command center ready to fly over here, but, I mean, this spread is impossible. You can't defend here, here, and here all at the same time unless you're, like... You have to have a lot more supply than what Mihu has. Maybe at 160 you could do it, but here you can see, as is, he's having a very hard time keeping anything going. Fengzi, on the other hand... Everything looking very, very strong. Very well defended. Even going to take this mineral base. He doesn't really need the minerals, but why not? Restarting his Spire as well. You may as well just have the various tools, considering the amount of money you have here as Fengzi. All right, some Irradiate's going to go down. If he could bust one of these bases, that would be really, really important. Because don't forget, one of the big things about playing TVZ, when it goes super long and you're still alive, they actually start to run out of gas. And their army is so gas intensive. Like, that makes a big, big difference. Now, unfortunately, no scans or anything there, so the Lurkers all get underground with low health. And look at this. He's just making a Dark Swarm path over to that 3rd base location. And their Irradiate's actually going to save him. Yeah, it looks like there's only 1 non-irradiated Lurker in here. So that's not the end of the world. You can kind of hold on against that. Oh, a nice plague onto those vessels. Just making it so hard. Mihu here with almost no money in bank. He is macroing well, but, you know, with 1 base, it's not too hard, right? He has landed a new base and is trying to set this up. Double bunker and everything. Doesn't seem too likely, unfortunately. Attacking forward, losing those vessels. Rapid fire here as they're at 1 health from the plague. And, like, yeah, maybe he can kill off these Lurkers, not let those go for... another Dark Swarm goes down. This army here might be able to even kill these Marines. You know, they've got 3/3 upgrades on the Lings, at least, with those Adrenal. And now another attack coming down towards this new 4th base location. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that. It's getting worse and worse as Fengzi, I think, is finishing this game right now. Like... Killing off this base completely is gigantic. Obviously, he's losing like every medic he's had for so long. GG is called. Wow, what a game from Fengzi.